And once again, here we go again. One flop to rule them all. Or as the video is titled, one ratio to rule them all.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
There's a tempest in me.
No Diddy.
You have not seen what I have seen. Twist, gut.
Unfortunately, we have. Worst fights I've ever seen in my life. It's Mount Cheeto Dust. It's Mount Cheeto Dust.
No.
Right.
Burgerotic.com.
Right.
Greetings, you over 1 million practitioners.
After you fucked up the
Common sense
continuity.
and who haven't subscribed yet. Yes, it's time to talk
Like
about
they
the
never
Rings
read a
of
book
Power
before.
again, because out of nowhere, on May 13th of current year, Amazon announced they were going to release a teaser for season 2, which I'm sure had nothing to do with the May 9th announcement from Warner Brothers that Peter Jackson was returning to Lord of the Rings to produce 2 Gollum films directed by, and I'm assuming starring, Andy Serkis. Not to be outdone, on the very same day Amazon announced the teaser trailer, Warner Brothers followed up with an announcement that they were going to release footage from War of the Rohirrim at a film festival in France. This brings us to May 14th of current year, where yes, Amazon did indeed release a teaser for The Rings of Power Season 2, which we will
They
get
could have
to,
just kept
but
it to
1
themselves.
hour later, because David Zaslav had his hand over the send button, Warner Brothers decided to respond with a brand new House of the Dragon trailer. The best
Yep. They one-upped them in the same day.
description of this is from Lily on Twitter. This is the Kendrick and Drake beef for nerds, except with giant
No,
IP
it's not.
mining corporations. And it's glorious. But before we get into breaking down the new teasers, because it's been 2 years, let's briefly recap the Rims of Power Season 1.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. The Rums of Power. If you don't know what Rums is, make in Google it. Google it. If you're over 18, Google it.
It is the second age of Arda, and after Celeborn went out for pipeweed and never came
Peace.
home, his wife, the warrior Galadriel, wandered Middle-earth for 1,000 years looking for Sauron without a map. After easily killing an ice troll in under 10 seconds, but inevitably failing her mission, Galadriel is sent to Valinor by High King Gilgalad
Look
for
at how
being an
stupid that armor looks.
1,000 years
Going
looking
too
for
far
Sauron
back.
without a map. After easily killing an ice troll in under 10 seconds, but inevitably failing her mission, Galadriel is sent to Valinor by High
Such a
King Gilgalad for
disappointment.
being annoying. But girl boss warrior Galadriel's not gonna let no man tell her what to do, so she jumps out of a ship, swims across an ocean, and runs into a guy named
Which is impossible, by the way. Doesn't matter who you are. It's impossible to survive in the ocean for that long.
Halbrand, who's totally not Sauron. Then they go to Numenor and find out that all the Numenorians are racist because they think the elves are gonna take their jobs. Elsewhere, Doogie Elrond is in a homoerotic relationship with Durin IV,
Give me the meat.
So it's just
behind the back
weird.
of his wife, Dwarf of Color Disa. Meanwhile, in the South, we have 2 brand new made-up characters by Amazon, Don Lemonless, who falls
Yep.
in love with the Middle-earth dispensary owner and single mother Bronwyn. And even though there's no mention of him in the second
Basically, Xena the warrior princess.
age, there's the Harfoots with female Frodo and female Sam, who run
Yep.
into totally not Gandalf
Who turns out to be Gandalf.
and then are pursued by the Nazgûls. In the Rings of Power Season 1, we learn the
fucking
origins
hell.
of metals like mithril and geographic locations when a southern tweaker named Waldrig grabs a sword and starts a contraption that was co-engineered
Magical make things happen device.
by the designers of Milton Bradley's Mousetrap to create Mordor, which was revealed in possibly the most exciting way, a change of font. And the series ends with Galadriel figuring out what the audience knew since the first
This scene is hilarious. By the way, if you watch, the only way you can enjoy the Rings of Power is if you watch it as, if you see it as a fan-made fictional story about the Lord of the Rings before the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, see it as fan fiction, and you might actually enjoy it.
first episode, Halbrand was
If you can look past the cringe dialogue and the poorly written characters
Sauron,
and the cheap designs of the armor and the
and
suits
Galadriel
and the poorly choreographed fight scenes.
one of the wisest beings in the history
Like I
of
said,
Middle Earth,
fan
lets
fiction.
Sauron go and doesn't tell anybody. And along with Celebrimbor, the master smith of Middle Earth, who had no idea what an alloy was until he met Halbrand, who was totally not Sauron, they forged the 3 elven rings.
Yeah, but the master or blacksmith who's supposed to know all these things doesn't know anything about his own job. It's not even his idea to make the rings. Which is supposed to be his idea. And they made the wrong rings. They made the wrong rings. These are not supposed to be the first ones made. The lesser rings are supposed to be the first ones made.
Rings of Power, the end. And it should be no surprise Amazon has been radio silent since the end of season 1, considering every trailer and clip they put on YouTube was ratioed into oblivion. The comment sections were glorious and the reviews were horrendous. And there's that little issue of losing 63% of their
You
audience
would die,
as the
by the
series
way, if that
progressed.
happens.
And after watching the season 2 teaser trailer, it's clear absolutely nothing has changed.
Member berries. Oh shit, oh no.
There's nothing like setting the tone with your teaser trailer by putting it to music that sounds like a troll taking a dump. Now in the next clip, I don't believe in the history of teasers or trailers there has been a better description of what this show really is.
An evil has returned.
Amazon's The Rings of Power.
Just a pile of CGI
Accurate
mist
right
rolling
down to
around.
that big black sploogey mess that looks like the Venom symbiote crawling from the depths that in the show is sucking the life out of Middle Earth, just as Amazon is sucking the life out of the professor's work. And looky here, Warrior Galadriel is back with her little pal Doogie Elrond, and my producer X.
At least he's doing
Now, if you
something.
look closely, because I completely missed it the first couple of times, it looks like Galadriel and her company are up against the Barrow-wights.
What?
Now, it can't be the ones Frodo and company encountered in the Fellowship
That's
of the
too
Rings
early.
book, but that's never stopped Amazon before. Maybe it's some earlier form that, just like with the Harfoots, through some contractual obligation, they're going to have to rename to the Barrow-wight Supremacists. Or it could be something Amazon completely made up. I have no idea. It looks like the Nazgûls are back.
The Feminims?
And here is Master Smith of Middle Earth, who couldn't figure out what alloy was until he talked to Halbrand. And who is he looking at? Sauron?
Couldn't possibly be.
I think he has been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Now, let's
You
not
kidding
get
me,
bogged
right?
down with the details that Amazon's Jennifer Salke, Lindsay Weber, J.D. Payne, and Patrick McKay, amongst others, essentially prison raped Tolkien's lore. And one of the many things they completely botched was the forging of the Rings of Power by the Elven Smiths of Eregion by doing it completely out of order. They didn't show any of the forging of the
If you ever watch Lord of the Rings, 4 to 6 hours, depending on which version you watch, those are the rings that they should be introducing first in the Rings of Power.
lesser rings, which were considered an essay in the craft. Oh, and there's that pesky detail of Sauron as Anatar not being there because they replaced him with Sauron as Halbrand. But don't worry, they've seen the error of their ways and they're going to bring him back, but he's going to look totally different.
I don't think they are. Look at this, the size of this man's fork. You can see that's, you can see that's fake. You can literally see it. There's no way they can't recognize that's him. Oh man.
Oh, he tried it.
Internet is
This the
undefeated.
cunning shapeshifter Sauron the Great, who has the ability to change into a serpent, a vampire, or a werewolf in his fairest form. Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, using his immense power to put on a wig. Oh, this clever disguise, how will you ever see through it? And I know what you're thinking, dear viewer. There's no way in hell they're going to bring back Halbrand with a wig and no one's going to recognize him, right?
I've had an unexpected visitor.
What?
It's too easy.
More on that later. Back to the trailer. There's a big rock falling in Khazad-dûm, leading to a
Oh, the Balrog, right? Member
lot of
berries.
speculation that this may be the Balrog. Remember the Balrog?
Oh, I
Yes, the member berries.
Of course, that doesn't happen until almost 2,000 years into the Third Age, but would it surprise anybody at this point? Here's an orc
No.
licking a knife. Remember Lurtz from the Fellowship of the Ring? Here's Ar-Pharazôn with
Remember
an
eagles?
eagle. Remember the eagles from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I remember that.
Never mind the fact that the eagles had bailed on the Numenorians by then. Isildur's back, and it looks like he's going up against a big spider. Remember Shelob? Remember the 3 elven rings that were supposed to be forged by Celebrimbor alone became Galadriel's idea?
We must make 3. One will always corrupt.
I can't take this girl seriously. I can't.
With 3, there is balance.
What?
Remember the ring verse? Remember when they repurposed dialogue in the Rings of Power Season 1?
Yes.
would make me a tyrant.
I would make you a queen, fair as the sea and the sun,
What?
stronger than the foundations of the earth.
We get to see the return of the elf of color, Don Lemonless.
The darkness did reach him.
I'm not touching that one.
Evil motherfucker, black magic, darkness.
And the dwarf of color, shill favorite Disa.
We kind of touched on it and teased on it in season 1. This time you will see us in all our glory.
You don't say.
Then there's some quick cuts. We see Durin the Third getting his Ring of Power. They show a fortress that a lot of us thought was Barad-dûr, but actually it's the fortress from season 1 where Galadriel killed an ice troll in under 10 seconds with the greatest of ease. A scene best described by
Ridiculous.
Joel Berry on Twitter. My favorite part of the new Rings of Power trailer is when Sauron makes a face like, "It's Saruman time," and then freezes the kingdom like Elsa from Frozen. Here we have what looks like the sack of Region, which doesn't end well, and that reminds me, there's supposed to be a major character there. Galadriel's husband, Celeborn.
Doesn't exist anymore. He's been erased from history. Oh man.
Well, Galadriel better hope he doesn't come back because she's going to have a lot of splaining to do. But as far as the sack of Region within the lore of the show, that all could have been avoided if Galadriel did one little thing. But first, let's hear from the warrior Galadriel herself, what she's going to be up to in season 2.
This
The same
season,
stuff.
Galadriel's being driven more by a bigger purpose.
Bigger than hunting for Sauron for 1,000 years without a map?
Yup.
Since Sauron is building his strength.
And whose fault is that, Galadriel? Why, it's yours.
You let
For
him leave.
letting him go once you figured out he was Halbrand
You
and
were
not
right
telling
there.
Celebrimbor or Doogie Elrond. But it looks like that's another thing they're gonna fix for season 2.
He's Sauron.
You sure about that? You sure about
You
that?
didn't see that
But to be
early?
fair, it's obvious that Amazon has listened to the fans and they are going to course correct by retroactively screwing up more lore. The bad news is
No,
Amazon's behind the times. A year and a half ago, they announced every episode of season 2 would be directed by a woman. Now we're in a time Hollywood believes men can do a better job as women. But let's look on the bright side. At least we haven't heard from any super fans yet.
Oh, God. Don't do that to us again. Don't do that. Don't do that shit again.
talking about my girl Galadriel.
Which is better, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power? Well, I haven't watched Rings of Power yet.
At least we haven't heard from any adult pretenders droning on about the
Embarrassing.
show's lore-shattering diversity yet.
She is the first female dwarf that we will ever see.
No, she's not. You obviously never saw Lord of the Rings, did you? Because there were multiple women
On
in there.
screen. Woo, woo, woo.
Disa, the first female dwarf that we have ever seen on any screen.
Nope.
It means absolutely everything. It is everything. It is everything
This guy wants to
for
die.
people of color. It is everything to progress.
Uh,
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And at least there haven't been any attacks on the fans yet. Now, we have heard from the
It's coming.
shills, but the Fellowship can handle them. And the comment section on YouTube has been glorious. Elrond,
You're
we
gonna
have
take
but
and
only
turn
one
it over.
choice. The wig must be destroyed. Galadriel, no man can fool me. Sauron puts on wig. I am no man. But they were all of them deceived, for another wig was made. Boromir, what is this devilry? Gandalf, a wig, a hairpiece of the ancient world. This foe is beyond any of you. Run! And my personal favorite, I don't wear half my wigs half as much as I would like to, and I wear less than half of my wigs half as much as they deserve. Speaking of YouTube, how about that House of the Dragon Season 2 trailer coming out an hour after the Rings of Power Season 2 trailer
Glorious.
and becoming the living embodiment of this meme? At time of recording, Hot D Season 2 is currently number 6 on trending and doing pretty damn well. It's a different story for the Rings of Power Season 2 trailer, which at time of recording is number 5 on trending. 1 ratio to rule them all. And it's not much better for the behind the scenes video, which is ratioed. Let's take a look around the world. Canada, ratioed. France, ratioed. Germany, ratioed. Japan, dislikes turned off. Australia and New Zealand, ratioed. Ireland and Professor Tolkien's home country, the UK, ratioed. Nature is healing. And the best news of all in this tumultuous world, it's the Fellowship, bringing people together. But if Amazon wants to start this all back up again, we'll be ready.
The beacons are lit! Gun knuckles for 8! And Rohan will answer. Muster the Rohirrim.
Durgarotic.com.
He was strong in life. His spirit will find its way to the halls of your fathers.
Hey man, y'all go and subscribe to Narcotic if you see this video. And if you care about pop culture and things like that. Guy makes great videos, great points, great insights about culture, comic books, superheroes, all those types of things. Great content. Also subscribe and comment on my channel if you want to see more of this type of content. Or if you want to see something different, you can comment and I will oblige if I can. And yeah, subscribe. Please subscribe.